And a very good evening, everyone. Welcome. Great to be back with Tassie Rules, Tasmania's footy show after a week's break. We have got a very big show coming up tonight shortly. Our Club in Focus. We're going to reflect on a night of celebration last Saturday for this particular club who celebrated their centenary, a remarkable achievement when you consider officials told them initially, and we'll show you a slide of this, we better give them a go. They won't last long. There it is from back in the day. Well, they've lasted 100 years, and it was a great night, as we said. So we're going to catch up with their president, Bobby Beams, very shortly. We also have a special guest joining us in the studio who's visiting Tasmania to speak on his personal journey to recovery from extremely tough and dark times with mental health. He's now established an organisation to try and help others, and that is why he is here in Tasmania for the next couple of days. Plus, it's been a while since we've had him on the show. Matty Harvey's going to join us and talk through the topical issues in Tasmanian footy. So we're going to get stuck into it straight after the break. Don't go anywhere. Club in Focus with Thanks to Harrison Agents is next.
For 30 years, DLM Machinery has kept Tasmania's construction industry moving. As the sole Tasmanian distributors of Cabelco, ASV Positrax and Merlot telehandlers, we offer trusted sales, parts and service with locations in Launceston and Hobart. From excavators to telehandlers, routine maintenance to field repairs, our skilled team has you covered wherever the job takes you. DLM Machinery. Local, reliable, ready when you need us. Get in touch today.
Well, there you have it. That is the Bridgenorth Football Club. Brad Moylan, the videographer, with that magnificent aerial shot that featured as the intro as part of the documentary on the history of the Bridgenorth Football Club. It's a remarkable story. Last Saturday night, the club held its centenary dinner and announced the team of the century. Pretty amazing thing to get to 100 years when, and I'll say this in inverted commas, they were not given much of a chance. It was a club with no town. 350 people attended last Saturday night. It was packed to capacity. Announcement of the team of the century, and the president who's overseen so much with this football club is Bobby Beams, who joins us. G'day, Bob.
G'day, Rick. Thank you. Great to be here.
Nice to see you again. We've been seeing a fair bit of each other over the last few weeks and months with the doco and obviously the dinner, but you must have been thrilled with the turnout last week because that was an extraordinary night. And obviously we had Matthew Richardson as a guest speaker as well. Have you been able to settle down a bit now?
Oh, yeah. It's been a bit of a quieter week, but look, it was phenomenal. It's testament to the club that so many people wanted to be a part of it and come along. And, it was quite, reflecting on it and talking to some people through the week, it was quite emotional at times to see so many people just wanting to catch up and chat. And, we're really proud of it. And, we celebrated it the way it should be.
No, you should be very proud. And let's start with the announcement of the team of the century. We've got a pick here of that team. And what stands out for me here, because it was an extraordinary turnout with the team. I mean, we obviously know some have passed away, but we had family members there and there were one or two who couldn't attend, but family reps came as well. That says a fair bit about it, doesn't it? Because we'll bring up the actual team itself with who made it. But to have Alvin Scollier, 96 years of age, among a number of legends from the early days in attendance, premiership player and coach Paul Beachy in that side as well there at centre half forward, and then the captain, the ruckman, Tommy Barwick. Extraordinary team and a great celebration.
Yeah, definitely. And the names go back right to the start with Ellis Scollier as our first ever coach, coaching the team, and Lindsay Scollier and Ben Scollier. Ben Scollier actually played in our 1929 flag, and then we stopped for the war, but he come back and played in our 1949 flag as well. So, and then right up the current day with Matthew Zanetto on the half-forward flank there.
And obviously, there's, I guess, a way you have to cut off how people and set parameters in terms of how they qualify to make the team of the century. But let's not forget, and fantastic to see Stephen Carey there last Saturday night as well, who was, of course, an Essendon premiership player back in the 80s.
Yeah, obviously strong links to the club with the family. I mean, that's where he was born and raised, and the club still holds a significant part to his life and where he went as a footballer.
Indeed. And we know that, as I said in the intro, the team were given a go because they didn't think they would survive. 100 years later, why is the club so successful? Because it seems to be thriving in the men's space. The under-18s made a grand final last year. The women won the premiership. What is it about the Parrots?
Yeah, look, it's been talked about a lot, especially this year with the 100-year
Mm.
celebration. And one thing a word that comes up a lot is culture, and we all know, culture's a buzzword in
Mm.
sporting groups or organisations, and I've sort of reflected on it a fair bit this year, in particular, that what makes our culture so good, and I think it sort of goes back to our leaders right from the start. Some we mentioned there in the early days, Ellis Scolyer, and then and beyond that. Um, the leaders just set such a good example in terms of, you know, they they work so hard. They're very humble.
Mm.
And I know we spoke about, Alvin Scolyer, and he was 96, who played in 7 premierships, yet he did about 40 years on the committee as
Yeah.
well. And then, I was lucky enough to know Kevin Lack, who won 9 best and fairest, but he also did sort of 40 odd years as
Amazing.
well. And, they're the most humble gentlemen you ever meet.
Mm.
And they pass those traits on down to the next leaders and the leaders after that. And you do feel of, just that sense of responsibility to pass that on to the next generation. And that was certainly heightened after the events of Saturday night.
Yeah, no, indeed. It's been a successful period, particularly for the women. They won their first ever premiership last season there at UTES Stadium. And we know the club, and in fact, of course, the NTFA is going through a year of change. But how well placed do you see the club at the moment?
Look, we're going fairly well in terms of our playing numbers have been strong again. Obviously, as you say, there was a transition with the NTFA, and where we went from Premier League down to Div 1, so that had its challenges. But what we have done in terms of getting our teams on the field, they've all been going well. We've had some ups and downs with it, a few challenges with our under-18 numbers, but that's looking positive into the future. Our senior men have played in 6 games that have been decided by 9 points or less, and unfortunately we lost 5 of them. So that makes it tough because otherwise we'd be in the top 3.
Yeah.
But the reserves and women are in the top 2 or 3. So things are sneaking along okay.
Yeah, well, we'll take a look at the men, the Division 1 senior men's ladder, and we can see there that Roach Ali, of course, a powerhouse, 14 from 14. But you've got a massive game coming up at home this Saturday, Bobby. You're 6th at the moment, a game and a half out of 5th, and you're placed in Pat. So this is pretty much all on the line, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. A fair bit's got to go right for us to slip into the 5. And and obviously this week is super important. And we had a really good contest against some Pats up there earlier in the year. And looking forward to. We haven't been back at Parrot Park with 4. A full round of games for a while, so it's good to be back.
And you touched on those close encounters of the games decided by 9 points or less. Your percentage is really irrelevant, I guess, when it's 6 points between. But Hillwood are 4th as well on the same number, only 6 points ahead of you. So there's still some life if you can get a win next week against St Pat's side who are going along okay.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's going to be. We're going to have to play well.
You will. The women, reigning premiers, of course. It's been done to death around the restructure, of course, with women's football. But credit to your team that you coach, Bobby. They are flying on top of the ladder. Clearly, you must be pretty satisfied as a coach. I mean, this weekend you're taking on Meander Valley, who are yet to win a game this season. But you must be pretty proud of the girls, the way they've responded and been able to maintain such strong form.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was, as we mentioned, there were some challenges at the end of last year in terms of the change of competition, and we, we made sure we gave all our girls an opportunity to explore options at higher level, and some have done that. We've got a couple playing on the mainland and going well, and then we had some others that took time off to travel and do other things. And but what we have done is had a core group of players that have wanted to grow themselves as players, as leaders, and then we've added some new players, returning players to that. And we've the start was probably a little bit slower than other years, but we're really starting to gel, and we're getting we've got our list back together, and we're looking forward to these last couple of games and then roll into finals.
Well, you had a massive function last Saturday night, but the functions continue this Saturday, Bobby. Ladies' Day coming up at Parrot Park. Details on the screen from 1:30 till 3:30. There'll be food, a guest speaker, prizes up for grabs. So should be a cracking afternoon for the ladies.
Yeah, it's something they've done for the last 4 or 5 years, and it gets a good crowd along while the game's on. And a couple of the women's players. I know Emma Woods is one of the main ones behind this, been driving it, and hopefully we'll get another good crowd Saturday.
Yep. So jump on the Facebook page for Bridgenorth Footy Clubs, to go to Eventbrite to grab your tickets if you want to get along to that. Bobby, well done on Saturday. What you and your committee have done, because it was an amazing night and great to be a part of it. Thank you for having me, because it's great to see. We had more people there than probably live in the greater area of Bridgenorth. I mean, it just says a fair bit about the club.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. And it was a great, great culmination of a celebration for the whole season. And we've still got some things later in the year to do, but no, we couldn't have been more happy. And thank you for your help with that and the documentary series too, Rick.
Pleasure. Great to be involved. Bobby Beams, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, mate.
It's Bobby Beams, president of the Bridgenorth Football Club. We're going to take a quick break. Back in just a moment.
HST Tree Specialists. We are the industry leaders in vegetation management in Tasmania. Our services include tree solutions, hazardous vegetation removal, and project consultations. We are committed to eliminating vegetation-based risk in Tasmania while being sensitive to environmental impact, with a strong focus on health and safety practices. And from large-scale government and commercial projects, small private arboriculture jobs, and equipment hire, MyTas recommends HST.
Welcome back to Tassie Rules. Great to have your company with thanks to DLM Machinery on this Thursday night. Well, our next guest first came on the show just over 12 months ago. Scott Bellinger would be very well known to many viewers around Tasmania. He's been involved in football for a great period of time before moving interstate, but he has personally faced some enormous challenges and also adversity, cancer, mental health, addiction, alcoholism. Scott is the founder of Experience Strength and is in Tassie right now for some speaking engagements, which we'll tell you a little bit about later on in the program. But it's nice to have him here in person. Scotty, nice to see you, mate. Welcome.
Thanks, Rick. It actually is nice to be in person, and it's great to be back in Tassie, mate.
Welcome home.
Yeah, thank you.
Exciting. Beautiful day.
Absolutely beautiful day.
Weather's always lovely. We'll get on to the purpose of your visit, but just take us back a little bit, because you have obviously faced a lot of personal adversity in your life through sickness, mental health challenges. Just for people who may not know about your situation, and let's maybe start from a base of what's happened in the past to you that's led to today.
Absolutely, Rick. Again, thanks for the opportunity to come back on your show. Look, 2018, 2019 was some pretty tough times for me. I had a health scare that came out of left field, wasn't expected. Things in life were going really well, but it hit me really hard from a cancer perspective. So I had to go through a lot, surgery, radiation treatment. I was still working at the time, and in reflection, Rick, I did everything for my physical health.
Mm-hmm.
I did absolutely nothing for my mental health. I didn't speak to anybody about it. I kept it really close to myself. I didn't even share it with my family, how I was feeling. And then that led to some even darker times. I was finding myself using substances, consuming copious amounts of alcohol, because I just didn't like the way that I was feeling. And then all of a sudden, Rick, that led to just not being able to actually stop. And awful things happened, and the symptoms of addiction have a flow-on effect for people that we love, our family members, employers, football clubs. I've always been around football clubs. And the symptoms aren't really understood. Today, in reflection, a few years on, I've put a few things in my path to, I guess, deal with the mental health side of it and to come out from those dark times into the light, which is where Experience Strength was born. And I guess what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, and credit to you, and obviously those close to you as well that have helped you. So you've come through that, and that is the inspiration for, as we see with the signage with Experience Strength. Has that been the catalyst for now what you're doing, and part of what you're down here for at the moment? But you're doing this nationally.
100%. Look, really quickly, Experience Strength was born. As you know, I have been around footy for a while,
Mm.
and I had the opportunity to coach at a really high level in Queensland. And there was an event at a football club, and unfortunately, the person who was supposed to be the guest speaker wasn't able to attend at the last minute. And I found myself on a stage. Don't mind being the centre of attention, Rick, with an audience, and I just spoke from the heart. I just shared my experience and now my strength. And on the back of that conversation or that presentation I did, Rick, I actually had an inquiry from someone who heard me speak that night, and they just related to what I was actually saying. So we were able to have a conversation. We were able to get that individual some help. And they've gone from being in the dark to the light as well. So Experience Strength was born, and the opportunity to bring this out in the open, the opportunity to try and help educate and smash the stigma that is attached to addiction. There is a stigma that's attached because these symptoms aren't socially acceptable. So my vision, what I want to try and achieve, is to do the next right thing, to educate as many people as I possibly can, to smash that stigma, lead by example and show people that there is a way out of those dark times. It's not easy in any way, shape, or form, but I wouldn't change anything in my story because of where I am today.
Yeah. You are speaking of the Scottsdale Football Club tonight. We've got some details up on the screen that will pop up. So, as you said, the title, Smashing the Stigma. What can people expect to hear and get out of attending a presentation that you put on?
100% honesty. Like, I don't hold back, Rick. There were some really dark times, and I share those dark times. And I think it's really important to do that. I think it's really important to get that out in the open, because there could be one person in that audience that's in the exact same place that I used to be. So that if they're relating to those that story,
Sure.
then it gives them some form of hope. But also to what I've been able to do to get where I am today. So it's that experience, the strength that's attached to it. But I'm hoping by telling my story, I'm providing people hope, because there is a way out of those dark times. There is a way to turn things around. And one of the things that we are really passionate about is, we as a business, Experience Strength, we all have been in dark times. We're not qualified doctors, Rick. We're not qualified psychologists or psychiatrists, but we are well qualified in our own personal journeys and stories, and we're able to share that experience with an audience and provide that opportunity for them to come out the other end. Yeah.
We know it's not obviously just aimed at football clubs, but you've got that football background. But because footy is so high profile, and particularly in AFL circles, we have heard a lot lately.
Absolutely.
As well.
Yep.
Is not everyone speaks up. So what have you found so far, and what's the feedback been like with your presentations that you've been making along the journey?
Look, we've had nothing but positive feedback. And you're on the money, Rick, with regards to how people actually address it and how they actually talk about it. For me personally, and I can only, again, speak about my own personal journey, we hear so many catchphrases. Sometimes you'll hear someone, just say no to drugs. Someone who's in the grips of addiction, Rick, people may not understand that they don't have the option to say no. They're in so much pain, and they don't know why they're in that pain, and they don't know a way to get out of it. So they can get some relief by medicating just for a little period of time so that they can actually breathe. It's like an instant gratification that doesn't last very long, and then it's like Groundhog Day, starts all over again.
Yep.
So to be able to break that cycle and to try and relate the speakers that we've got Experience Strength, our stories, to people of influence, whether it be football clubs, industries, associations. It doesn't matter the audience that we're speaking to. We just want to try and educate from our perspective that's true, real, and live. And that creates an opportunity for someone to come out into the light, mate.
No, it's brilliant. It's a great thing that you and your team are doing. Experiencestrength.com.au is the website. You can get a ton of information on there and learn a lot more.
You can.
And the message out there for footy clubs is that, who generally obviously are watching the show because it's a footy show, is that you can reach out. You can reach out directly as well.
Absolutely.
Through the website. All the contact details are there. We hope it goes well in Scottsdale tonight. And as I said, you are rolling this out nationally, and credit to you and your team for being so public about it with your own journey. But as you said, truth is really important.
100%. And that key slogan, smashing that stigma that's attached to it, is what we're all about. An alcoholic or an addict aren't bad people, Rick. They're just a little bit unwell. They're not sure of the reasons why they're unwell. And education and open communication is a way to deal with it.
Well, kicks off in Scottsdale tonight. We hope you'll be back down here soon so we can catch up and get more. But obviously, if anyone that wants to get in touch can do so, they can just head to experiencestrength.com.au. Scotty Bellinger, great to see you, mate.
Thanks, Rick.
Lovely to have you down here in person. Hope it goes well in Scottsdale.
Thank you.
And we'll hopefully catch up very soon. We'll keep in touch. That is for sure.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate it.
All right. That is Scotty Bellinger joining us. Now, if this has triggered anything for you, you can always get in touch with Lifeline. Their number is on the screen now, 13 11 14. So that is Scotty Bellinger from Experience Strength. And that website again, experiencestrength.com.au. We'll take a quick break. Back in a moment.
For 30 years, DLM Machinery has kept Tasmania's construction industry moving as the sole Tasmanian distributors of Kobelco, ASV Positrax and Merlot telehandlers. We offer trusted sales, parts and service with locations in Launceston and Hobart. From excavators to telehandlers, routine maintenance to field repairs, our skilled team has you covered wherever the job takes you. DLM Machinery. Local, reliable, ready when you need us. Get in touch today.
Welcome back to Tassie Rules, Tasmania's footy show. Well, it's been a long time, and it's a great pleasure to welcome Matt Harvey back to the show. We've got a couple of topics to talk about. Hello, Matt. How you doing, mate? Nice to see you.
Yeah, I'm going very well. Thanks for having me back. Always a pleasure to be part of the show.
It's
going great guns this year.
A bit of footy to talk about, but we're going to start off about Matt Harvey, the author. Now, I couldn't help but pick up that last week you were book signing at the local Petrarch's bookstore.
That is correct.
You've brought them along. Show us your latest one.
So here's the two books that I've written. The latest one here, A Lone Wolf. They're both children's picture books. Just something I like to dabble in. It's always good to have a side hustle off the side here. And yeah, picture books is the one that I've stepped towards.
Magnificent. And I did ask you quite flippantly whether there's a movie coming, and that's a goal.
Ideally, yes. I mean, it'd be great if one of these were to be turned into a major movie picture. It's a long way off. It's a bit of a pipe dream, but look, it's still a dream there.
Well, just remember who your friends are that we help promote that. So,
that's all right. I'll keep in the back of the mind. That's all good.
Hey, let's get on to some important stuff. Footy. There is a bit of a stalemate at the moment, obviously, with the Tasmania Devils because of a thing called an election from the 19th of July. Now, I just want to read out a statement from the Tasmania Football Club. So this was the day after the election. So, and quote, Tasmania Football Club stands ready to work with the incoming Tasmanian government and elected members once the election outcomes are resolved. We are focused on entering the AFL and AFLW by 2028. In order to do that, we have several timeframes that must be met. We are very eager to work with the government to realise these. In the meantime, we will stay focused on building our club. And these next 6 words I want to focus on, Matt, because it ends with, we have no time to lose. So here we are at the end of July. We're really no closer at the moment to knowing how our parliament is going to look. This is very real, isn't it? I mean, this has been obviously going on. We wanted this sorted out a long time ago. It hasn't. We don't have a government yet.
No.
Where do you see things at the moment with the Devils? Because it's those 6 words will resonate with people. We have no time to lose because we don't.
Well, that's right. When we got our provisional license back in 2023, 2028 seemed a long way away. And we thought, look, we've got plenty of time to get our infrastructure in place, our teams built, everything like that.
Yep.
We've done some of it, but yeah, the infrastructure is the key part, which hasn't really progressed. I mean, yes, the high performance centre, we've got a location for that now, but the stadium, which was a key point, which all the other clubs agreed to, said this was something that we have to tick off to be able to form a team here in Tasmania. Doesn't look any closer to being completed. And once a parliament government is formed, I think there might be some more delays.
And not knowing the final makeup as well, we know that Liberal and Labor are both supporting it. But the key thing here, the other thing as well, is a lot of people have blamed the AFL. It had nothing to do with this. It wasn't the AFL who came up with the stadium has to have a roof. We've recommended that from the get-go. That was part of this whole process to where we got.
That's right. It was part of the initial negotiations,
Absolutely.
which was signed off by the Tasmanian
which
Football
the task
Club.
force came up with, that were assigned with that task to put up the business case. It's an incredible organisation of amazing people, the Tasmania Football Club. We are so fortunate with who we have on board working with the Devils at the moment. I want you to touch on something I know you're very interested in, is junior football. Talk us through how that's been going since the Devils was announced.
Well, I think across the state, there was a massive influx of kids wanting to get involved in AFL. Now, we'd seen probably since COVID times that a lot of kids had moved towards soccer, moved towards basketball as their key sports. I mean, the Tassie Jack Jumpers have been huge in the state. If you look around at any basketball training camp, 90% of kids are in a Tassie Jack Jumper top. They want to play for the state. That's the team they want to go for. When the Devils got announced, we saw the same thing happen with Tassie kids. They want to play for the Tasmanian Football Club. They want to play for their state. The jumpers come out, the merch comes out. You see all the kids wearing it. It's great. I'm afraid we might see a drop-off if we don't see progression, because that's the goal for them. A lot of the kids, they see their stars, which will be the Tasmanian players. They want to see them locally. They want to be able to interact with them.
Yes.
It might not happen.
No.
And I'm really worried that we'll see a drop-off again should this not continue through.
We have around 210,000 foundation members. And as you said, the merch has gone off the charts. And with the way it's situated at the moment, the other flip side is, do you get a sense at all that the AFL might help out a bit more in terms of easing some restrictions or giving more time, but still push for that Tassie AFL license or team to kick off in the AFLW in 2028? Because we're not playing VFL yet. When we know that's due to come in next year, I personally think we absolutely must have VFL next year, and not this 10 games that I've heard in some circles of the media. But we have to get this started, and the VFL just has to happen next year as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's right. It's hard to build a team and get that team cohesion without actually playing regular games with your squad. You can't suddenly just step up into an AFL level competition with good players, but who have trained together, have done a few practice matches. You need to build that over the course of the year. So I agree. I think we need to be in that VFL, and we need to have our team locked in and playing on a regular basis.
You have played a lot of footy in your career, and we know that there is, with some great clubs, we saw a lot of Tasmanians who we hoped would be in that market or in mould at that age and at senior level to represent Tassie. A lot have moved. We're not necessarily going to get them back. I think the numbers playing in the Sandful, for example, are extraordinary. I think there's around 40 Tasmanians just in that league with clubs, not all playing seniors at once, but there are so many over there. There's a real risk. These men and women want to play AFL, AFLW football. Now, ideally, they want to play with Tasmania, but if they're in a state like South Australia or in Western Australia, they could easily be poached, and all they want to do is play AFL.
And that's been the pathway for a lot of our top level talent. We think if the ultimate goal is to make AFL, it's not by playing in a local league. They do need to go to a league which has got a higher standard, which has got more eyes on it. When they say, okay, you're playing against players who are either ex-AFL players who just come out, or again, on that verge of trying to crack into a team. They want to stand out against those other opposition. And I think you're right. Besides our juniors coming through in their representative, if you're an adult, you've missed the initial drafting, and you still think AFL's my goal, we are losing players. And if we don't have a VFL team that we can pull from to get to that level, that we're going to continue to lose them.
And we've got some amazing boys and girls coming through the academies at the moment.
And the academies are a fantastic thing. That's been such a really positive influence for kids who can say, okay, AFL's this far away, but here's the steps I can get to. I think it's been great. I know a lot of junior kids that I've been coaching and been coaching against, they see that as a goal. They want to get into that academy and they see the benefits of it.
And amazing news obviously coming out during the course of the week as well with All-Australian selection with the Junior Carnival that's just finished as well, just showing and proving the talent that we've got down here.
Oh, exactly. We do have great players. It's just the ability to showcase them on a national stage.
It is. Geez, it's going to be an interesting few days, really, over the course of the next week. We should have a bit of a clearer picture how Parliament might look or which way it'll go. It's a mess at the moment, but we know that once the numbers are all sorted, let's hope that they get around a table and we get a clear pathway moving forward.
With a clear timeline that we need to action. We need to move quickly on this. Personally, I don't think we've got any time to lose. We've got timeframes where, like you said, we're meant to be in the comp in 2029, playing VFL, 28, sorry, playing VFL the year before. Without a stadium, without a home base to build from, it's going to make it difficult.
Yep, as I said, VFL was supposed to be this year. It's not. It's supposed to now be next year, and all indications are that will happen, but we'll have to wait and see a little bit longer.
Watch the space.
Yeah. Just finally want to touch on the SFL because coming up next week, it is the Daffodil Round. This is the second time they've done it. It is a fantastic event that Cancer Council of Tasmania and SFL Tasmania get together and do. It is coming up on Saturday, the 9th of August. Cancer Council will have some representation at both North Hobart Oval and Signet Oval. We've got a couple of tips we're going to pop up there as well because even though it's the dead of winter at the moment, we've got cold, sunny days. So you can see prevention tip number 1 there around the cancer screening and the most effective ways also to detect early signs of cancer if you notice any changes, to obviously get checked as well. And there's some tips on protecting yourself, the old slip, slop, slap. Remember those TV ads? They were very effective, Matt, weren't they, back in the day?
Added the seek and the slide as well.
That is it. So that is prevention tip number 2. But if you can give, please head to the SFL Facebook page that all the details are up on there as well. Matt, great to see you again. Good luck with the books and the movie.
Thank you very much.
And hopefully we'll see you again very, very soon. All right, that is it for our show for this week. Thank you very much to all of our guests. Great acknowledgement to the Bridge North Football Club, of course, with their team of the century and celebrating 100 years. We look forward to seeing you next week. Big show. We've got a couple of young special guests who have just been selected in the All-Australian team. We look forward to having them with us here in the studio next week as well, and we'll talk to them about their goals for their football future. Thanks very much to DLM Machinery and all of our partners on the show. We'll catch you next week.